Hello everyone. In this session, we'll be going to talk about a donut chart. A donut chart is a data visualization that is similar to a pie chart, but with a hole or donut in the center. It's used to represent the composition or distribution of a whole data into its individual parts, which makes it easier to see the proportion of each part relative to the whole. In a donut chart, the entire chart represents 100% of the data, and each segment of the chart represents a category or part of the whole. The size of each segment corresponds to the proportion of that category within the whole. The center of this chart is empty, which creates a visual focus on the data rather than the traditional pie chart that may have label or legend in the center. During our practical demonstration in Tableau, we will explore how to create the donut charts to effectively display the distribution of data categories, and you will also learn how to input the data values, customize the labels and colors for clarity, and create informative tooltips to provide the additional info. Whether you are visualizing the market shares, budget allocation, or any data set with categorical values, donut chart offers a visually appealing and easy to understand way to convey the distribution of data components. So let's go to the Tableau screen and see how can we create this kind of chart. So in our Tableau screen, we know that in the show me menu, we don't have a donut chart. Now the question arises, how can we create it? So we have to use a bit of our creativity to create a donut chart. We know that donut chart is very similar to this pie chart. The only difference is that there is a hole in center. So let's try to create a pie chart first and see how can we customize it to behave like a donut chart. So let's take the shipping mode and sales. Since I have these four shipping modes and the sales value is good in this, so when you are creating this pie chart, it would be very easy for us to identify the values because there are not too much distribution. Now we have already talked about what is a pie chart, how it behaves. So I won't be repeating that thing, but let's see how can we create the donut chart by customizing. So after you have created this pie chart, let's try to fit it in the entire and let's try to increase the size a bit. Okay. After increasing the size, let's say that you go in the rows and here you have to create a calculated field. This calculated field would be average of 0. Now what this does is that it adds a line over here, and as it adds a line over here, we'll see how can be it used to again create a similar kind of pie chart and how can the values then be overlap. You will understand that in few seconds. I'm again clicking on control and dragging this. So when you click on control and drag any value, it makes a copy of that value. So this is a good shortcut to remember that any value, you press control, click on that value and drag it, it creates a copy of that value. So I just need two values over here. So I'll just remove this one. Now I have these two values. For the second value, what I'll do is I'll just try to bring back all the categories behind. So I'll remove everything from this side. After you have removed everything, you can see the color has now changed. Now, what I can do is for the first pie chart, for this one, I can just increase the size a bit. And if we look closely, what would happen if this particular portion would move inside this? So let's try to color it in white. Now, if this portion goes inside it, it would try to create a void, or it would look like that it has created a void. And this would be visually looking like creating a donut chart. Since we have changed the color of this particular pie in white, what I can do is now I have to drag this particular part over to this pie. For that, what I can do is I can go in the left axis, do right click and choose the dual axis from over. Now, after choosing the dual axis, you can see that it has created a pie chart. This is not originally a donut chart. This is actually the combination of two pies. And if I look closely over here, I can still see these values as pi. But since there is no visual element to create the pie chart, so that's why we have done this kind of thing to create a donut chart. Now let's customize it a bit. Since I have already added this average of 0 line over here, now I need to customize it a bit. So let's start with first adding the values over. I know that these all are shipping modes. So let's drag these shipping modes in the label and also drag the sales in the label. So it is now showing me the sales according to the different shipping. I don't want to see the sales like this. I want to see the sales in terms of percentage. So for that, what I'll do is I'll choose this sales, which is in the labels. I'll click on this arrow and over here where it says the quick table calculation, I can choose the percent of, and it would give me the percent of total for that. In between, if you want to change the size of this particular hole or this particular pie, what you can do is you can go in this section and you can try to increase or decrease the size as per your. So this would make your donut chart even look better. So please find a suitable size according in that. Now the next part would be to remove all the values from here, which are given like these lines or all the other hidden lines also that can be present in this particular chart. So for that, what I'll do is I'll right click over here, go to format. After going to the format, and better, it should be better done with making the color a bit dark. So I'll first make the background color a bit dark, and then I'll change all the line colors and line types to be none. And you can always click on this left header and choose to not show the header. Now this chart is clean. So what you can do is whatever color you keep in the background for your visualization, you have to match the same color for the inside of this file. So let's say if I was changing the color of this worksheet to be this shade of blue, now it looks a bit odd. So what I can do is I can go and I'll choose the same color and then it would look good. So the color in the background is not so good right now. That's why the visual is showing a bit different. But it would look good if you choose a good color range. If you want to show the borders also, you can do it. You can go in the border option in the colors and you can choose to show the borders. And this would show the borders and it would make the visual stand out. I can go in the borders for the other one also and add a black border. So now you can see it is giving me a good. So in this way, you can try to create a donut chart. Since it was not available, I made the donut chart out of the pie chart. I'll just repeat the steps again what we did. First, we tried to create a pie chart. Then I made this average of values at 0 and I created a calculated field basically. Then I chose the dual axis option and I brought one pie to the top of the other pie. And this made my this visual look like a donut chart. Then I increased or decreased the size of this side pie according to my need. I added some labels and then removed some lines and it would make my donut chart. So I hope it was clear to you. We'll be meeting in the next session where we'll be talking about the funnel chart. Thank you.